What's going on, Shady people? Shady Penguin welcoming you back for another UCL prep video. We are building our team for tomorrow's game against the S.L.Rampardos. I am your coach, Shady Penguin of the New York Mankeys. And if you're excited, please you should show some shady love. Hit a thumbs up down below. The like button does need your touching. Now today, I decided that after last week being super long-winded, I actually went ahead and I kind of pre-planned this week just a bit. I'll still go through the whole thought process. We're going to go over our opponent's team, and it'll be a little bit long still. Probably like 20-25 minutes is what I'm shooting for. Maybe it'll be a little less. But I didn't want to go through all the back and forth like I did, so I kind of did that in my own time. Sought some counsel, and we'll see how it goes this week. But our opponents, like I said, are the S.L.Rampardos. They're going to come up, Rampardos. They're going to come up on your screen right now. We have Aromatisse, Conkeldurr, Crobat, Mesprit, Vaporeon, Raikou, Tangrowth chilling in the back and waving his hand, Metagross, Omastar, Kecleon, Hydreigon, and Golurk. So that's the team. Really quick, we're going to shoot to our team, the New York Mankeys. We have Landorus, Chansey, Mega Pinsir, Mew, Jolteon, Gramble, Shiftry, Skuntank, Infernape, Milotic, Girder, and Regirock. So that is our cast. We only choose 6. Our opponents choose 6. And what I want to do this week is I really want to kind of buckle down who I think that my opponent's going to bring. Or rather, I'm going to go ahead and buckle down and say who my opponent's not going to bring. My opponent is not going to bring Aromatisse. Because I don't have a Dragon type, so I really don't think Aromatisse is going to be a Pokemon my opponent brings. My opponent's not going to bring Omastar. I would be shocked if the S.L.Rampardos bring Omastar. I think those are the only 2 Pokemon for sure. I'd say I'm pretty positive my opponent won't bring Tangrowth. And I say that mainly just because I have Infernape. And Infernape, at first glance, destroys my opponent's offensive core, Metagross and Hydreigon, because we know that that's like his crazy offensive core, and Conkeldurr's there as well, which can really hurt Infernape, but I outspeed, I have priority, all that stuff. If I were to go for a close combat and he Drain Punch, he'd probably knock me out because of the defense drop, so Infernape's a little bit of a frail Pokemon, but it really does hard counter my opponent's offensive core, but he does have the Crobat, which is really troublesome because that is a fast Pokemon, an extremely fast Pokemon that can one-shot my Infernape, so we'll go into a little bit of team building in a bit, but that's why those 3 Pokemon, I think that we'll go into Pokemon that I think my opponent is definitely going to bring. I think my opponent is definitely going to bring the Mega Metagross, the Hydreigon, and I would be really surprised. I think he's going to bring Conkeldurr and Crobat. I think he's going to bring those 4. The other 2 are up in the air. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings the Raikou, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't because I have Landorus. So that one's kind of in the air. The only 4 that I'm really sure of are Metagross, Hydreigon, Crobat, and Conkeldurr. Because, I mean, Metagross covers his Ice Weakness. I don't have any Ice Stab, so he's not really too concerned about bringing that. The only fairy Pokemon I have is the Gramble, and his Crobat kind of covers that very well for his Hydreigon. So I think he's going to bring both of those. Plus, they're both floating, and Landorus was my first round pick. Metagross has the Earthquake weakness, so I think he's going to want that immunity. Like I said, we're going to go one more time. Metagross, Hydreigon, Crobat, Conkeldurr. Now, in the 5th slot, I'm leaning most towards Golurk and Raikou. I think the 5th and 6th slot, I'm leaning most towards Golurk and Raikou. Golurk because he knows I chose that that Jolteon. He knows how fast it is, and he's not going to want to get Volt Switched on over and over and over again. I mean, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up on the side. Damage calcs. Choice Specs, because we used Choice Specs Jolteon last week, and I'm absolutely in love with Choice Specs Jolteon. Even to a Hydreigon, Choice Specs Volt Switch does 30%. 30%. That is absolutely beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Not to mention, Jolteon gets Signal Beam, which I'm probably going to be bringing over HP Ice. Signal Beam does 88% to a Hydreigon. So, not that we can really take a hit from a choice. I mean, even if he's Scarfed, I think that a Gosh Diggity Darn Draco Meteor has a really good chance to OHKO us. Yes, it does. So, we wouldn't be bringing that. We wouldn't be bringing that. It's not a switch-in. It's not a switch-in if he's Choice Scarf. But we have to find out that information. That's another thing I'll talk about. I really think that Hydreigon is going to be his Choice Scarf user. If he brings Raikou, it could also be Choice Scarf, as well as Mesprit. But I think Mesprit, if he comes, is going to be a Stealth Rock setter. I think Golurk has access to Stealth Rocks. I think. Pretty sure. So that could be a Stealth Rock user. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if he opens up Golurk, sets up rocks right away. So those are the 6 that I'm leaning towards and bringing. Metagross, Hydreigon, Crobat, Conkeldurr for sure, those 4. I'd be surprised if he doesn't bring them. And then I think Golurk and Raikou. I really think. I mean, he could bring the Vaporeon. Vaporeon's a really good mon, especially get access to Ice Beam against the Landers, Ice Beam for Mega Pinsir. mirrors up with my low tick, passes off wishes. So Vaporeon definitely could squeeze in there somewhere, but I just would be really surprised if he doesn't bring those initial 4 or at least 3 of them. The Mega Gross, Hydreigon, and Crobat. I'd be surprised. And maybe he'll leave the Conch back, maybe, but because of the Mega Pinsir being around, so it's possible, but I'd be happy if he did. I'd be really happy. So going into team building right now, ignore this Snivy because that's not on our team, but the one Pokemon that I know that I'm bringing for a fact is Jolteon. Actually, I mean, I have the whole team ready to go, but Jolteon, I want to choice specs it. We are going to be going with Volt Absorb, and we are going to be going Volt Switch, because that's going to be the #1 move we click. Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, which is great because it does 80% to Metagross. It does 80% to Metagross. It does, oops, I apologize about that. You just saw a bunch of files. Hee hee. It's 80% to Metagross. It hits the, it one-shots the Mesprit, I believe, depending on how it's, actually, maybe it doesn't. Let's check out Mesprit really quick. Mesprit 105, no, it doesn't. Never mind. Because Metagross has how much special defense? 110. Oh, maybe it will. Maybe it will one-shot it. Nah, it'll be close. It'll be close. After rocks, it'll one-shot. So anyway, and then of course we have Bug Buzz. So Bug Buzz is really there. I'm sorry, not Bug Buzz. Signal Beam. Signal Beam is really there for Hydreigon to get behind a sub in clutch. I mean, it's neutral on Metagross. So if he gets behind a sub and he's at like 20% left, I'm pretty sure we can dish 20% out. In fact, let's find out. Metagross. This is good information to have. Signal Beam does 40% behind. So if he's behind a sub and he's low, we click Signal Beam. We outspeed and we win. So we're gonna be running Timid. I don't want to ever be outsped ever. Except for by his choice Scarf, that's obviously going to be a thing. But we're gonna go max speed, max special attack, and gosh diggity darn it, 4 HP. Let's bring it down to 50 so we can see those in-game stats that we're gonna be battling with. 141 HP, 200 speed. 200 speed. So that is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. All right, the next Pokemon that I don't want to bring, because I want to abuse Volt Switch and U-Turn, is I'm going to bring that Landers. It hits a lot of things really, really hard. It's not the fastest thing, so we will be choice scarfing it. I'm gonna go ahead and give it, I'm gonna do the EV spread first. 200 in speed, which brings it up to, you guys will see, it brings it up to 204 with a choice scarf. 136, I'm sorry, maybe not 204. I really thought it was 204 when I was running calcs before. Let me just check that really quick because I might need to change it. Times 1.5. No, it goes to 204. Okay, English is not my, okay. So 204 speed, outspeeding, outspeeds Crobat. Crobat, I think, maxes out at 200. Speed ties with Jolteon, so that's going to be a little bit of a scary of a setup. When that happens, I'm going to be terrified. You could probably literally see the fear in my eyes when I was just talking about that. We're going to give him max attack, 252 attack, so he hits like a truck, and 56. The remaining goes in HP. So we're going to make you choice scarfed. So we have our 2 fastest mons to kick off our team. We're going to really abuse U-Turn Volt Switch. That's why it's going to be the first move on there because I want to click it most often. We're going to have Earthquake, Stone Edge, and Knockoff. So we have regular coverage. Knockoff is such a good move. It should one-shot. You know what? I don't want to assume. Maybe Landers can't one-shot it. Mesprit. U-Turn does 50%, so I would think Knockoff can go ahead and all right, Knockoff doesn't do as much as I want. So the one thing about this moveset is we don't really have coverage for Hydreigon. I mean, we have the U-Turn, which does a good amount, but honestly, we're not out. I'm honestly really convinced that Hydreigon's going to be his choice Scarf user. We're gonna have to find out, obviously, through means of whatever. If he clicks U-Turn right away, then I know that he's going to be choice Scarf. But a Draco Meteor does pretty much take us out. It does pretty much. I mean, it has a 12.5% chance to Oko Landers Therian. So after rocks, I'm pretty sure it's just about guaranteed 87.5%. So this is gonna be our Landers. This is our Volt Turn Core right here. Volt Turn Core. Now, when you have a Volt Turn Core, you need some heavier mons, some fat mons. So a fat mon that I know that I want to bring, and I'm really excited to bring. We brought it last week, but we're gonna bring Gramble. Our fairy type. He has the Hydreigon. Now, granted, Gramble is afraid of the Metagross, so we have to be careful. But Gramble is such an awesome Pokemon. It has Intimidate, which of course won't work on regular Gross. It has to be Mega Evolved. Has to be Mega Evolved for us to take advantage of that. Has to. So we're gonna make this a physically defensive mon. I mean, we're gonna take advantage of that Intimidate as much as possible. Forgive me. We'll take advantage of that Intimidate as much as possible. We know we can't take a special hit, so we really have to be careful with this Pokemon. Something I know I want is Play Rough because I want that coverage for the gosh darn Actually, let's put Play Rough here. I know I want Play Rough for the Hydreigon. I also know that I want Thunder Wave, because Thunder Wave is a great move for speed control. If we can paralyze that Hydreigon at some point on, I don't know when Hydreigon will actually switch into Gramble, maybe predicting a double switch. But I'm gonna be hitting, if he does not have Golurk, if he doesn't bring Golurk, I am going to be hitting Thunder Wave so much. I am going to be hitting Thunder Wave so much, because paralyzing either the Metagross, like that will be huge. Paralyzing the Hydreigon will be huge. I think speed control is going to be so important. And he only has the one. Well, he has Raikou as well, so we have to be careful. We're going to have to be careful by clicking that. Play Rough is a very high base. It's a very high base attack, so we should be good with that. We're gonna go with, we're gonna make Gramble, we're gonna make Lagoa a little bit of a cleric. We're gonna go with Heal Bell. Let's give you Lagoa right now. We're gonna make him a little bit of a cleric, just in case something gets burned on our team. Granted, nothing on our team right now can be paralyzed besides Gramble, at least by Thunder Wave. So we're gonna have this here just in case we need the Heal Bell. It's nice to have. And our last move, we're gonna go with Earthquake. We do already have Ground Stab, but like I said, 120 base attack and a base 100 ground type attack when he's got Raikou, when he's got Metagross. We can live, like, it stinks. Lagoa's not exactly a switch-in for Metagross. It's a switch-in for a lot of other things on his team. Let me pull up his team again really quick for myself. I mean, it's a switch-in to Conkeldurr, 100%. If he brings Conkeldurr, Gramble just says no. It doesn't matter if you have Poison Jab. Conkeldurr Gramble just says no. That's going to be another scary thing going for Thunder Wave. Paralyzing a Guts Conkeldurr will be really scary, so I may have to click Play Rough until that thing is gone. I just may have to click Play Rough until that thing is gone. But the opportunity to paralyze a Metagross on a switch-in would be phenomenal. It would be absolutely phenomenal. But I don't think Dan's going to fall for that right away, so I have to wait for the second turn to happen. We're having our battle in like a couple hours from now, so I'm kind of scared. But I could see him bringing the Kecleon too. Now I'm looking at his team. Kecleon's a really good mon, really versatile, so I could see him bringing it. Access to priority, all that fun stuff. It's his third priority user. Metagross, then Conkeldurr, then Kecleon. I think that this is going to be our Gramble though. Very defensive, going to be able to really, any physical, like Crobat. I mean, Crobat's going to hit it on its physical side, which stinks. I'm actually interested to see how much a Cross Poison does from a Crobat. Cross Poison, oh my gosh, Gramble, calm down. Yo! Gramble, are you kidding me? Hold on, that's not an offensive, that's a support Crobat. Oh my gosh, even still. From a Jolly Crobat, because he's gonna be Jolly because he wants to speed tie with Jolteon most likely. And this could also be, I could see this being his Choice Scarf user, don't get me wrong, I could definitely see it. Just so he'll know. But seriously, he might bring 2 Choice Scarf users. I think he did that in our first match in the GBA. Cross Poison to a Gramble does 30%, and that's before the Intimidate. So Gramble is in fact a switch-in. Gramble is a switch-in. Granted, I can't really hit it with anything, but I can fire off a Thunder Wave. So it's not a super switch-in, but I can go ahead and predict, but he's got U-turn. So it really depends what item he's holding. Hopefully we'll see leftovers, or hopefully we'll see Black Sludge. And then we'll know that he's not Choice Scarfed. So with that in mind, we have our gosh darn next Pokemon. Like I said, Lagoa is not exactly a switch-in for Metagross. So what is a switch-in for Metagross? I just have to check one thing, because I didn't get a chance to check this. This is a really dumb question, I'm sure. But does Metagross get knockoff? Metagross does not get knockoff. I didn't think so. Okay, so that means that 100% Mew is going to be our Metagross switch-in. We're gonna give him the leftovers. I'm actually really tempted to give him the berry that reduces dark damage. I may do that. I may do that. But we're gonna go ahead and, because he's our Metagross counter, we're gonna give him Will-O-Wisp. So once again, that Conkeldurr. I'd much rather paralyze it than burn it, probably. So I don't know. It's so tough since Conkeldurr is a traitor. Conkeldurr is a traitor. Yeah, we're gonna go Will-O-Wisp. But Mew's job is to stick around and to roost, and Mew's other job is to knock off items. Now, knockoff to Mega Metagross actually does a decent amount from Mew. By decent amount, I mean like it'll break subs. That's what it'll do. That's my goal, is to make sure. Let me just make sure. Knockoff does 23 to 28%. If I make you adamant, then you guarantee to break subs. I'm really afraid of sub Metagross. I really am. I don't know if I'm gonna do that though. I don't know if I would do that. I'm really not sure. Knockoff. And then our last move is going to be, where did I have this whole thing on the right hand screen that has everything already ready to go. Of course, what do you need on your team? You need Stealth Rocks, and Mew is going to be our Stealth Rock user. And our only offensive move, like I said, is gonna be Knockoff. Kind of stinks because we don't have any stab, but I'm okay with it because knocking off an item is a bit more important. We're gonna go to max, max HP, max defense. Now, I know I'm gonna get some hate on this because Mew, we now have 2 physical walls. Now, granted, looking at our opponent's team, the really only special threats are the Raikou and the Hydreigon. Those are the 2 special threats on the team. I mean, granted, Mesprit can be pretty offensive, but I'm not too afraid of it. Honestly, I'm really not. More often than not, I carry Psyshock instead of Psychic, so we have physical defense on our team. I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to, do I wanna run this Mew? Synchronize is really nice. Yeah, this has, I don't really have it on the Metagross switching. We're gonna add more bulk to this team. I know it seems crazy. Like I said, Volturn is our core. Volturn is our core, and these Pokemon, I mean, Choice Specs Jolteon hits really hard. All we have to do is get rid of Golurk. And to that end, we're gonna go ahead and bring Milotic. We're gonna bring Milotic. This is gonna be, see, I might end up taking leftovers off and putting the berry that reduces dark damage, although that extra recovery might be clutch. If I do that, I definitely have to keep him impish. I mean, there's really no benefit to me wanting to stay in on a knockoff, so leftover seems like the best play. Now, I know I've got a lot of leftovers going on. I know I do, because Legoer and Mew, both of them with their leftovers, it's like, but Milotic, you're probably gonna have to hold leftovers. It's the best play. It's the best. You know, maybe people go Citrus. No. You know what we could do? Because the Hydreigon. Now that the Hydreigon, that Hydreigon scares me. I'm like questioning in the back of my mind. I didn't want to do this live. I did not want to do this live, but I'm questioning Landorus. Now, what I was gonna lead up to at the end of this was Infernape is really predictable. It's obvious that Infernape's coming, so I can go ahead and, let me see something really quick. This will be the deciding factor. Infernape, what are you, base 108? Hydreigon, base 98. That kind of decides it for me. I'm 100% going Infernape. And I'm going Infernape, Choice Scarf, because like I said, it destroys his core. It does almost the same thing that Landorus would do, because I want U-turn. If my goal is U-turn, granted Landorus switches in on rocks. Actually, Landorus switches in on rocks the same. Landorus is bulkier, so it can take a hit if needed. However, what I liked about Infernape is that it destroyed Metagross and Hydreigon. I thought it was pretty obvious that's going to be who I bring. So I wanted to try to go around that, but that doesn't make sense to me. I think I'd rather just bring the Infernape, have the Overheat option, because Overheat, we're going to EV it so Overheat one-shots Metagross. Show me the Mega Metagross in the damage calcs. I know you guys can't see this, I apologize, but I'll explain everything. Overheat, if we make ourselves, instead of Jolly, if we make ourselves positive speed and minus defense, because you're not taking a hit anyway, Overheat is a one-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. Guaranteed one-hit KO. Granted, if he decides to bring Assault Vest Metagross, I will be, you know what? GG, you got me good. Then again, regular Metagross has 90 special defense. We'll see how much it does. Overheat doesn't knock out at that point. It's a 2-hit KO, but That's not what we want. So we're gonna hope that he brings the Mega Metagross. I don't think he can resist it. I don't think he can. If he has Assault Vest, I'll be happy about that because I'll get a knockoff off and it'll do a lot more with Mew since Mew is our switch in. So we're gonna go Overheat. I'm gonna make him a Hasty Ape. He is a Hasty Ape. He is a Hasty Ape. 252 for 252. I like this is our choice scarf for a lot more than Landorus for this matchup because like I said, it destroys, it one-shots. Let me just see. Okay, close combat. If we're max, do I need to invest anything? Well, after Stealth Rocks is guaranteed to KO, and without Stealth Rocks, it is a 68% chance. No, it is a 50% chance to OHKO. 50% chance, so we have to get some sort of chip damage off on this. U-turn, Overheat, close combat, and I think our last move would just be, I mean, Mach Punch might come in clutch. Mach Punch might come in clutch. And I have to go a positive speed nature because Hydreigon, like if Hydreigon, we'll talk about it right now. If Hydreigon is timid, choice scarfed, it goes to 165. So what we could do if we wanted to, we can bring, we can go 200, because I think if we go Adamant, we're not gonna be able to outspeed. Yeah, we can't outspeed, so we have to go Hasty Ape. No, not Lonely. You're not a Lonely Ape, you're a Hasty Ape. Hasty Ape, and our EV spread needs to be, let's see, 180. 180 makes us outspeed. So we're gonna give you 180, and we're gonna put the rest, I mean, if we go the rest into special attack, maybe we'll take that Metagross out now. Guaranteed. Yeah, Metagross, it's an 87.5% chance to OHKO at full health. So Stealth Rock's guaranteed OHKO. But granted, while the Vaporeon's still around, I have to click U-turn. I know that I have to click U-turn. It is unfortunate, but it's what I'm gonna have to do. U-turn is gonna be the move that we click. Even if Metagross is in, because Dan is not going to let that thing stay in. And then we can always U-turn out into Jolteon. Volt Switch if the Golurk's not there. And honestly, just that core is going to do so much. I like this so much more than Landorus. I mean, granted, Landorus had the Intimidate, but Landorus doesn't want to take an Ice Punch even after an Intimidate. So U-turn, Overheat, close combat. And for our last move, I have to look at his team really quick, because I planned to bring Landorus, but then the more we spoke, the more I didn't want to do it. I could go Grass Knot, but Vaporeon's not that heavy. Poison Jab's not really necessary. I mean, do I learn Ice Punch? I doubt it. I doubt I learn Ice Punch. I could go Thunder Punch. I could go Thunder Punch. I mean, I think that Flare Blitz actually does more, which makes me almost want to run Flare Blitz. But let's look at Crobat. Let's talk to Crobat a little bit. Thunder Punch only does 54%. Wow, that is sad. That is really sad. And then Flare Blitz, of course, that would be like in a last ditch effort. Like that's like end of the game. Oh my gosh, can he pick up the knockout with the Flare Blitz? Because obviously Brave Bird is going to one-shot me. Oh man. What I like about it bringing Infernape is that I feel a lot more comfortable leading with it. I feel a lot more comfortable leading with it because it outspeeds the Hydreigon. So if he leads with that, we're fine. If he leads with that, we're fine. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, so I think we go Thunder Punch instead of Flare Blitz. Let's look at this team. I mean, Tangrowth. I think Tangrowth is normally physically defensive, so Overheat's gonna be the best. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, kind of the same. He has less special defense, so Overheat's the best spot to hit him on. And then, of course, U-turns are great if he does bring that. Golurk, let me see how Golurk rocks out. Golurk likes taking an Overheat, I'll tell you that much. Golurk likes taking an Overheat. I might just go Flare Blitz. Nah, I'm gonna go Thunder Punch. I don't want the recoil. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go Thunder Punch. I'm gonna go Flare Blitz. Let's go Flare Blitz. Let's do it. I mean, can we learn, like, is there like a rock type move? We can learn Stone Edge. Stone Edge will do a lot to a Crobat if it hits. We'd probably also learn Earthquake. Earthquake might be a real option since we just got rid of our ground type stab. You know what? Earthquake is here for who? Earthquake's here for Raikou? Is it like the only Pokemon it's here for? Let me see how much it actually does in comparison to like Flare Blitz. Because Flare Blitz goes to 180. Earthquake. I'm sorry, not even Flare Blitz. I could just go for Close Combat against Raikou. Close Combat does, Earthquake does 66 and Close Combat does 80. So, really? Wait. How the heck? How does Raikou take less from a base 100? Close Combat goes to 180. Wait, I must be, oh, Iron Fist. Oh, I'm so glad I found this out right now. All right, then you know what? We're just gonna go Thunder Punch. We're just gonna go Thunder Punch then. Let's just go Thunder Punch. Wow. So does Flare Blitz get boosted by Iron Fist? Hold on, wait a minute. Something's terribly wrong. Close Combat does not get boosted by Iron Fist. Definitely not. Definitely not. Okay. So why does Earthquake? I must be missing something so basic right now. In my mind, Earthquake is base 100, right? Base 100. So super effective against Raikou. Does 200. Close Combat is 120. Not super effective, goes to 180. So how in the world does Earthquake do less? According to this damage calculator. Is the calculator broken? Am I missing something? I gotta be. I don't know what I'm missing. Whatever. I'll ask someone about it, but I don't know why it's doing this. But for now, we're gonna run Thunder Punch. Either way, I think Earthquake's a 2-hit KO, but I'd rather not lower my defenses. I'd rather not, because I can take a Thunderbolt. That's why I'd much rather go for. I'd much rather go for an Earthquake. I might end up just running Flare Blitz here. Nah, I think I'm gonna run Earthquake. I'm pretty positive I'm gonna run Earthquake just for Raikou, because I outspeed it and I 2-hit KO it. If I'm at full health, which at that point, who knows if I will be. Okay, so this is gonna be it for now, and things might change. If anything changes, I'll let you know before the battle tomorrow. But this is gonna be our team of 5 right now. Our last Pokemon, we have Water, Fire, Electric. For BP, we are running Shift Tree. We are going to run Shift Tree. This is where I'm gonna lose some of you guys. We're gonna go Shift Tree. And I know this is interesting, but we're gonna go Life Orb Shift Tree. Since I'm pretty positive there's no chance of, I'm not running Sun. And I don't think Dan is going to run Sun. Looking at his team, nothing benefits from it. I think I'm gonna go, I mean, he has the possible, I can't be put to sleep by Tengu Sleep Powder. I'm gonna go Pickpocket. Just because, I don't know. Just because if my Life Orb gets knocked off by like a Conkeldurr or some weird thing and I get steal on Assault Vest, who knows? We're gonna go Pickpocket. I'm basically gonna run I'm gonna run Defog, because in case I don't get my rocks up and my opponent gets their rocks up, I want to be able to get rid of it, knock off, and we're just gonna go Stab Seed Bomb. So Seed Bomb is good against the Vaporeon that he might bring, expecting the Infernape. We do have Jolteon though, which takes care of Vaporeon really well. I don't think it'll one-shot, like with a Volt Switch. We're gonna run that calc right now. Jolteon, Vaporeon, bada bing. Volt Switch does 90%. 90% to a Vaporeon. Oh my goodness. Thunderbolt's a 1-hit KO. But I can't Thunderbolt, so I got a Volt Switch. And then we're gonna run max HP, max attack. Now, I have pretty bad defenses. I mean, a lot of weaknesses this thing has. He really has a lot of weaknesses, but I really want to run him. Shift Tree, the Dark Elf is one of my favorite Pokemon. The Dark Elf, one of my favorite Pokemon. We have Sakura here. We have Mayhem over here. I'm actually gonna call you Hasty. Actually, I think I'm gonna call you Lonely. I want to name him something that's not his, and then Mew, we're just going to have Mew, Sakura, Dark Elf. I think this is our team of 6. I'm going to wrap it up here. This ended up being 30 minutes. If you want to have suggestions, please leave them, although the battle has already happened by the time you watch this, by the time our opponent watches this. It's going to be risky. We do have, our offensive core is a Volt Turn core. We have 3 bulky Pokemon. 3 bulky Pokemon. They don't cover their weaknesses very well, granted, but Dark Elf covers Sakura's weaknesses. The ice and the, I'm sorry, not the ice. The electric and the grass. Of course, Mayhem does that as well, with the Volt Absorb being able to take all of those delicious electric hits. But I think that's gonna be our team. Our switch-ins. For Metagross, our switch-in is to go into Mew. For Conkeldurr, our switch-in is to go into Legoer. For Hydreigon, our switch-in is to go into Milotic. Because I want to kind of like address the 6 that I thought he was going to bring. So Conkeldurr, we have Granbull. For Hydreigon, we have Milotic. For Metagross, we have Mew. For Crobat, we have Granbull. Granbull is actually sort of a switch in for the Granbull. It's our best switch in, actually. And just try to paralyze them. We're gonna have to rely a lot on speed control for this match, which is why Dark Elf can actually do really well with knockoffs and seed bombs. Of course, knockoff against a Metagross, just so you know, even if it's Mega Metagross, knockoff is a 2-hit KO. It's a 2-hit KO, 50%. That's 50%. We'd have to already have him low enough and have him paralyzed for us to do that, but it's not a safe switch in for my opponent, which is nice. Being able to run knockoff is really nice because he might want to go into the Hydreigon, get rid of his Choice Scarf, and at that point, our Ape is really going to be the ticket to winning, and I'm glad that I decided to add him on instead of Landorus, because if we can U-turn until he has about 4 Mons left, 3 Mons left, if we leave Hydreigon and Metagross alive long enough, we can just go for, I mean, even against a Metagross, like, let's just run this really quick. Infernape, Metagross. Close combat does 48%, so it doesn't have to be completely gone. Flare Blitz does, wow, Flare Blitz does as much as Overheat. Well, that's if I was running, Jolly, but I'm running Hasty Ape. So what does Lonely say? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna name him Lonely. I'm definitely gonna name him Lonely. All right, so we're gonna go Hasty Ape. Wow, Earthquake does nothing, man. Earthquake does less than, I feel like this calculator's broken. What am I missing? What am I missing? The close combat, is it because oh, I know what the problem is. There we go. It was on doubles. Figured it out. Okay, so Earthquake is a 2-hit KO against Metagross. That's good to know. It's not a switch in. But of course, Metagross one-shots me with Zen Headbutt. So, not exactly the best place to be. But if it comes down to the end, I know that an Overheat is a one-shot. I know that that Hydreigon gets, I believe one-shotted, gets one-shotted by close combat, even if he were to invest in massive defense, which means he'd be slower, which is fine by me. Close combat still is almost a 1-hit KO, does 95% average, 104 max if he's max HP, max speed. So that's gonna be our team. Let's go to New York Mankeys. If you guys enjoyed this team building video and you have suggestions, please be sure to show some shady love. Set thumbs up down below. Like button does your touching, especially on UCL videos. The support is everything. Keeps the Mankeys going and keeps us ready to go for the cup. So this is gonna be one of our toughest weeks. Week number 2 against Dan, someone who I've had a pretty bad track record against in the GBA. So let's turn that around this week in the UCL. Hashtag New York Mankeys. I love you guys so much. I'm gonna get the heck out of here and get ready for this game. Have yourselves a good day, but above all else, keep it shady.